Do you have a plan of action for whatever may come down the road? That's what I want to talk about today. Having a plan of action. Um, I just put up one for those of you who are with us on Patreon. Just put up one on the regular level about the cost of stupidity. It's both funny and illustrative. And then on the Stonemont level, I just put up a video about the first time I got crosswise of the feds and how I later ended up being assigned to a couple of their task forces. A lot of lessons in those, and those of you who have dealt with law enforcement will you'll understand it, and you'll get a chuckle out of it. And those of you who haven't been, you'll be shaking your heads. It'll give you a little bit of a peek into how certain aspects of law enforcement work. Um, but anyway, back to this. And by the way, should I say and remind you that this, as all my videos, are brought to you by our sponsor, my books, the Stonemont series, The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, An Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune, the complete guide, the complete plan in 6 novels so far, 7's coming, on how to prepare for, how to survive, and how to rebuild after a complete collapse of everything. If you're serious about preparedness and you haven't read these, I suggest this be the very next thing you do. People have been learning from these since 2017. And there are people who write me and say, I'm reading through the 5th time of the whole series and I'm still seeing things that I missed the first 4 times. So there's a lot in here, but it's in a great story. You can get them from Amazon. The link's down below. Or you can get them straight from me if you'd like them signed. That's what I'll be doing later today. We just got a load of books in. We keep running out, and then I'll be real honest, then the shipments slow down until I get a new shipment from the printer and all that. So anyway, but you get them signed from me if you would like. And the links for both of those are down below. Our Amazon, of course, or our website, stonemont.us. And as is, if you're not with us on Patreon, and you should be, the link for our Patreon is down below too. So, having a plan, pretty much everything you do, that you do successfully, is the result of a plan. Very few things that work out well happen because people frantically responding or reacting to some unforeseen situation, right? Tell you what made me think about doing this one today was I was scrolling through the news, and I don't know if this was on Breitbart or Drudge. Drudge has changed so much. I go to Drudge for the weird stuff, aliens and stuff like just for the chuckle. Breitbart, of course, Breitbart is not what Breitbart used to be, but still you have the more serious articles there, and then Liberty Daily where you get some serious stuff and some weird stuff. So those are my 3 that I usually check. But anyway, I happened to notice a headline about, I think it was about somebody was interviewing or covering Jonathan Gilliam, if you're familiar with him. He's a former SEAL, a former FBI guy. He's on Fox a lot. I guess he still is. I don't watch Fox anymore, but he used to be, and probably still is. Anyway, he was talking about the importance of having a plan for, potential. Can I say the T word on here? I don't think I can. Who knows what you can do anymore, right? For anything that may come along. And I didn't read the article because I imagine it's going to be this same basic stuff. But I thought, that is something that people probably know. You probably know, but very often the things that we know kind of drift down, in importance. They come off at the top, and then something else takes its place at the top, and then it kind of it finds itself getting lower and lower in the hierarchy, and that can be dangerous. And so I think it's just time to kind of give ourselves a tune-up here and remind ourselves how important it is, first off, to have a plan. And secondly, to make sure that everybody else knows the plan. Now in my family, it's my wife and I, and then 3 kids. And the kids is, things things change as kids get older, right? And hopefully they improve. They certainly have in our case. I mean, it's gone from the messiness of toddlerhood through childhood, and the noise and the stickiness and the wetness and all that kind of stuff. And down now, I essentially have 3, even though they're ages 17, 13, and 12, mentally, and I now have 3 adults, who understand things. And as they got older and older, I would introduce, small elements, preparedness elements, the importance of understanding what's going on in the world, the importance of being responsible for your actions. I taught my kids a lot. I taught them as much as I felt their minds at their ages, as they grew, could absorb and understand. As a result, my kids, as they went through school, in many cases, ended up disagreeing with their teachers on a number of things, sometimes actually calling them on it, and not disrespectfully, but presenting their case, and so they've developed that, and not always. Sometimes they just keep it to themselves and come home and tell me, you know what my teacher said today, and then we talk about it and we clear it up. But anyway, as they got older, more and more they are understanding the importance of preparedness. Uh, I have not forced it on them. The first time my 17-year-old told me the other day, he says, I'm putting together a new emergency pack. But we call them jick bags here. We don't, I know that, and don't worry, one of these days I'm going to make videos. I know people keep asking me, because I have a bag system. I have a body bag, which isn't something you carry a body in, it's something that's on your body. And then I have what I call a grab bag, and then we have a jick bag, and that's a just in case. And it's different than, I mean, some people kind of split it up between get home bags and bug out bags. The jick bag concept is my own. I mention it in my books. It's kind of an everything. Yeah. But anyway, he's putting together a new one of those, so you can see that he's tuned in. My other 2 are somewhat behind him, but they're coming along. The important thing is that you discuss with those who are a part of your core group, as it were. You develop, and then you explain to everyone a plan. Now, what is that plan? And for us, it goes beyond our immediate family. It goes to siblings, aunts, uncles, friends. Everybody knows, and everybody's been told, if certain things happen, come here. Come here to my house. This may or may not be where we stay, but it's where everybody first comes. And then if it's necessary to move somewhere else, then we go to the next location. And if you've been with me before, you've heard how we have a couple of final destinations that are quite a distance from here. A few hours by car, an hour and a half to one, and 3.5 to the next. But all along the way, we have waypoints of places that, in case we had to walk, okay, if we can get there by car, good, we'll be there in a couple hours. If we can't because things really suck, well, okay, we're still going to get there, but we're going to get there quite a ways later than we would have in a vehicle. But either way, we're going to do it. But we do that because we have planned for it. Excuse me, I have to watch something that's, oh yeah, okay. My neighbor My neighbor has too many bags of leaves for them to pick up, so he's leaving it in front of my house. I told him he could. See, that's the good thing about neighbors. You hear people that say, "Oh, I hate the suburbs," and because nobody knows their neighbors. I know all of my neighbors. I don't know where these people come from that don't know their neighbors, but I know all of them, and all but two of them are great. You get enough people, you're going to have a couple of assets, but most of them are great. Do anything for you. I'd do anything for them. Anyway, so, we understand the plan, and everybody knows it. Your plan, it's not necessary that I go into what my plan is, except that, it's incremental. It's not just, well, we're here and we need to get to there. Okay, because, what about all the stuff in between? All the what ifs. Well, you need to have plans for those. And everybody needs to know them. Okay, everybody needs to know that if you get here and we're gone, the next place that we're going is here, there. Okay, and then after that, the next place we're going is there. All the way down to, and to be honest, it would to our final, well, depending on what direction we're going, it could take 10 to 20 days to get there. But there are stops along the way, and there are routes that we would either take or, variable routes, things like that. So you plan those things and you let everybody know. Your plan might be different. I'm sure it would be to some extent. You're going to be dealing with different people, different amount or numbers of people, different types of people, different ages of people, different abilities. Whatever it is, you have to structure your plans around them. You can't just come up with a master plan and say, okay, everybody's got to be able to do that. Well, you got a person who can't walk very well. You're going to leave them behind to starve? Okay, well, that should be part of your plan. Not necessarily that, we're just going to go a lot slower, because the slower you go in something like that exposes you to more danger, more time in more in places that are more difficult to defend, blah blah blah. So you want to plan on how do you get that person moving faster? Is it in a cart? Is it on a bicycle? Is it on a whatever? You deal with these things. But plans have to, and you all are familiar with the PACE, right? Primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. That's really basics. And then I put on the end of that another one, and that's, oh crap. And that's beyond emergency. But hopefully you never get to that. Within each of those stages are so many degrees, that to some extent, you might be able to pre-plan for, what if this happens, then we do this. What if this happens, then we do that. In some cases, you can't. You have to cover them with generalities. And generalities are principles, okay, that they don't change. If we find ourselves here, here is our guiding principle. And here again, you have to decide what yours is. I can't decide. Mine may not be applicable to you. But planning, as the headline of this article that was going to talk about Jonathan Gilliam, it said, well, as things become more, they didn't use the term dicey, but I say as things become dicier, as the things become more dangerous, whether it's the world situation, our domestic situation, our economic situation, our porous border situation, enemies within that could start causing trouble here, and very dangerous trouble, the potential collapse of the grid, whether that's from sabotage, whether it's natural occurrences, whatever it is, our world is more dangerous, in my opinion, than it has ever been before. And you have to, not having a plan to deal with that and everything going to heck, is stupid. Refer to my Patreon video when I talk about the cost of stupidity. But then also, hang on, somebody's coming, wants to talk to me. Okay. Well, and not having a plan, where was I? Not having a plan is dangerous. Okay. Too many people, probably not you, but too many people, not understanding the real dangers of the world, the potential dangers of the world, they're prepared for life continuing to go along perfectly. When the slightest little blip happens, I mean, they just go berserk, right? They fall to pieces. Hopefully that's not you. That's what preparedness is all about. And not having a plan is really the ultimate irresponsibility. You have a plan for everything else, right? You have a plan, to pay your bills, to pay off your house, to for your retirement. You have a plan when you go on vacation. You have a plan for everything. Yeah. Uh, and those times of relaxation, which many times people have to plan out if they're so busy, are the times that they're just relaxing. And really, what they can say is, "This is the time that I don't have anything planned." Okay, but everything else pretty much has to be planned. And not to have a plan for when the world crashes around you, irresponsible and stupid. So, what's your plan? Think about it. If you kind of had just kind of a vague, hazy idea of, well, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to go to Uncle Bob's or whatever, like, well, okay. I'd suggest you kind of, put some fine touches on that plan. And who's going with you? How do you get a hold of people if communications are down? How do people get together? Do they know what the plan is? Because one of your most important um, assets when everything goes to heck is people. You need the people. You need the right kind of people. You don't need the others, right? The others are going to present a danger to you. They're going to drag you down, and they're going to make this a dangerous situation even more dangerous. So anyway, think about that. The world is getting. I have no idea what Gilliam said. Probably pretty much the same thing, but uh, it is getting more dangerous. And if you're not planning for it, you're setting yourself up to fail. Okay. Just a reminder one more time: if you want a complete plan, it's in these books, my books, the Stone Mount series. You'll love them if you haven't read them. People, that sounds kind of arrogant for me to say that, but I only pass on what other people have said. Many people said this is the best series they've ever read. It is the most informative. I'll stop right there, but people like them, and I think you will too. Links are down below. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And you know what a major part of preparing is? Having a plan. Y'all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.